Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 72 of Unwind and Knit with me. My name is Lisa and I'm coming to you from Christchurch in New Zealand, and this is my little place where I talk about my knitting journey, all my patterns that I've been knitting, my knitting, yarn, my shop, all things yarn related. So I always start with welcome back to all my existing viewers. Thank you for returning, and to any new viewers, I know I have picked up quite a few subscribers in the last since episode 71, so to any new subscribers to my channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy the content. Feel free to leave comments, interact, give it the thumbs up, share it with your friends. That's all greatly appreciated. Thank you. So I am a little bit behind on getting back to comments from episode 71, but I do endeavour to catch up over the next few days. A bit of admin notes on Facebook. You can find me as Unwind and Knit with me, and we also have a community group which is a closed group. Please feel free to join, and that's where you can share your projects. You will get asked 3 admin questions and a moderator will approve you, and then you're part of our little Unwind and Knit with me community group. Instagram, also Unwind and Knit with me. Ravelry, I'm Lisa NZ Knitter, and my online store is unwindandknit.com. I do leave quite extensive show notes. I refer to all patterns and yarns, and I leave links to where you can find those patterns or yarns. So if you click down below, there will be a section of show notes. So yeah, I'll leave everything on there that I refer to. As I said before, thank you to all new subscribers. I have surpassed 3,500, so I'm pretty happy about that. And I'm also about 2 weeks away from my 4-year anniversary. So I have been doing my podcast for 4 years, and I've had my little online store. So yeah, Unwind and Knit with me is coming up to 4 years old. I am going to have some announcements and some specials, and I will talk about those at the end of my podcast when I do my shop update. So what I will say there is, when I talk about patterns, I often give yarn recommendations of yarns that are suitable for those patterns. So take note if there's anything there that that interests you, because you may, I am going to have a big 4th birthday sale, so take note if there's anything you want to purchase. And what I will say is just keep an eye on the social media about dates and that special, but I'll talk about it more at the end. So in this episode, I will talk briefly about what I'm wearing. I think I have 5 whips to talk to you about. I have 2 new cast-ons, and I have a few new patterns that have sparked my interest that I want to share with you. I don't have any finished objects. I've got an almost finished object, but I must confess I have had a bit more what do we call it? Cast-on-itis over the last few weeks, and I've cast on a few new projects, so hence why I haven't actually got anything finished, and also why I've got so many whips. So, but it's always fun. Okay, and also if you are wanting to visit my in-person pop-up store, please do check the websites, because the hours will change. And I am going to change my Friday and Saturday hours, so I'll talk about that in the shop update at the end as well. That was a lot of admin. To be quite honest, I wondered if I was ever going to get in this room to do my recording today. I like to get in early in the morning, and it's now about 11:30, so it's taken me a few hours to actually get here. I've just had other things going on. So yeah, it's later in the day than what I would normally record. I hope the light's okay, because it is a bit lighter in the day. The sun's a little bit lower. It's actually a lovely day here, like cold. Like I think our high is 10 degrees, and I think we had another frost, but the day's beautiful. Sun shining, the house gets filled with sun and warms up. It's just beautiful. But that's what happens in the middle of winter. So, and talking about the middle of winter, I think there's 10 or 11 New Zealand podcasters you've probably heard. We've all got together and we are hosting a Kiwi make-along for the winter season. So that's June, July, August. I think it finishes at the end of August. So all of the sponsors involved, and I'll give you a quick run through of their names, are all donating a prize, and these prizes will be drawn from finished objects that you have knitted, crocheted, weaved, any fibre crafts, but it must contain either a New Zealand yarn or fibre or a New Zealand designer or both. But they're the only rules. It has to be a new cast-on. Existing whips don't count. So a new cast-on from the beginning of winter, and you can post those post what you're doing. You can also post progress photos. I've noticed a few people doing that on Instagram as hashtag Kiwi MAL. I will leave links below for all of this, or hashtag Kiwi MAL 2025. And also there is a Ravelry link, and that's been hosted by Marina from Strawberry Patches. I would like to give a shout out to Marina from Strawberry Patches. She does a podcast, but she's the one that's actually pulled all this together. So big thank you for all the work that she has done to pull all of us other 10 podcasters together. I will leave all these names in my show notes, but I just want to give a shout out. So there's myself, there's Strawberry Patches, and her podcast is called, Marina, and her podcast is called Strawberry Patches. Alanna from Black Cat Knitting Company. She's also Loopine in Auckland. Kat from Broomstitch podcast, Kylie and Gillian, and they're from Cup of Tea and a Yarn podcast. Bex, she's Rebecca Ann Knits. Vanessa and Sue, whose yarns from the south. Bebe and Steven, who are local here to me in Christchurch. Their podcast is called Just Another Knitting Podcast. Amy from Handmaiden, New Zealand, and Donna from Blind and Knitting. It's quite a list. It's quite a big group of us, so there's going to be a lot of prizes that you can win. And I have put my prize together, so I thought I'd show it to you, and I still may add a few other things to it, but I'm trying to stay a little bit, well, very much so in the Kiwi vibe. So this pattern is called the Rest Area Shawl, and it's by Bronwyn from Good to Go Knit Designs. So there's a colour printed pattern for this shawl, and a skein of yarn that I have dyed myself, and that yarn is New Zealand merino high twist that has been spun here in Christchurch by Wild Earth Yarns. So I'm given the skein of wool and the pattern, which is both Kiwi Maed and Kiwi Designs. I'm giving, and these are from my brand, Unwind and Knit With Me. There's needle tips, stitch stoppers, there's cords, there's stitch markers, there's lock-in pins, and there's the little, what are they called? Hourglass pins. Anyway, those little pins. So I'm giving away that bundle of accessories. I'm also giving away it's a leather shawl cuff that holds the shawl in place, and it's a really dark green to match the yarn for that shawl. And these aren't New Zealand made, but these are from my store, and I just think they're really lovely, and I'm going to donate one of each of these. And this is the cork, it's a Notions pouch. You can actually fit your glasses in there, but you can fit your scissors and your tape measure. It zips open. So that one's called the Notions case, and this one's called the Notions pouch, I think, but that's a smaller version for all your stitch markers and your pins. So there's those two little cork accessories. and I may add a few other bits and pieces, but that's the prize that I'm going to donate, which I think is really neat. So yeah, I think it's a really good concept, and I'm really I feel quite honoured to be part of it. Yeah, it's really cool. So let's go. Okay, and the other thing I want to announce, so I said before, Marina from Strawberry Patches, she kindly sent me a skein of sock yarn that she has dyed, and I think it's just beautiful. So Marina's been around quite a few years, I think over 8 years, podcasting and dyeing, so she does have quite a bit of experience as an indie dyer, and I know that she also dyes yarn, what do you call it, fleece to be spun, and I know that a lot of you are participating in Tour de Fleece, I think it's called. I've never participated, I'd like to, but I know that she's been really busy dyeing, I'm not sure what they're called. Yep. So I know that Marina's been busy dyeing the fleece that's used for spinning. This isn't one of hers, but this is what I'm referring to, and I don't know what they're called. They're a braid. So if you are wanting some hand-dyed fleece for spinning, jump on and have a look at her website. But that's the yarn that she sent me, and I just think it's gorgeous. It's just got pinks and purples and oranges, and then some deeper colours. It's really pretty. So I received that in the mail, and I was really quite chuffed. So that can go in my stash of yarn, sock yarn. That is New Zealand merino, and it's also been spun by Wild Earth Yarns, which is local. So with what Marina has done, very kindly done, is she's actually offered a 10% discount to any of my viewers that jump over to her website and order any of her yarns and fleeces. I'll put up here, you need to use the coupon code Lisa10, all in uppercase. I'll put that up for you to see. And that is valid till the 3rd of September. So coupon code Lisa10 for 10% discount from Strawberry Patches. So jump over and have a look at what Marina's got on her website. She does also have some yarn clubs and event calendars. The 10% discount doesn't apply to the clubs, but if you like to be in a yarn club where you receive little mystery yarn parcels, I know that I think she does a Christmas one, and I think she does other ones, mystery ones throughout the year. So jump on and have a look at Strawberry Patches website and use the coupon code Lisa10 for 10% discount to the 3rd of September. So thank you for that lovely skein of yarn. Okay, so let's get into the actual knitting now, what I've been up to and what I've been knitting. What I will first start off by telling you what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing the Daily Pullover, and this was written for Purl Soho by Paula Pereira. Sorry about pronunciation. But Daily Pullover by Purl Soho. I will leave the link in the Ravelry. I will leave the Ravelry link in my show notes. But I'm not going to talk any more about that or show you an overlay of the pattern because it's actually one of my whips. So this, what I wanted to say about it, it's quite often, well, I know for me personally, the basics that I'm drawn to quite a lot, and I do wear this quite a lot. I love the deep V. I love the raglan sort of design, and it's what I would call a wardrobe basic, and it's one that I gravitate to quite a lot. So I have cast on a new one, so I'll talk about that when I get to it with my whips. The other one I wear quite a lot that I've shown you in the last few podcasts is the one called the Perry, and I did that in the Myak Baby Yak, and that's also a deep V, and so that's obviously my go-to. That's what I feel comfortable wearing. So yeah, I am knitting my second daily pullover. So I think that says a lot, right, about a pattern when you want to do it again. It's one of those ones where I could probably have 2 or 3 in different colours. Right, I'm going to get on to my works in progress and I will just get my stuff for it. Okay, so my first whip that I'm going to show you, I won't spend a lot of time on because I showed you in episode, in my last episode, in episode 71, and I actually must confess I haven't done a lot of work on it since then, but it's the Northwood V-neck. No surprises there, I just talked about loving my deep V-necks. It's the Northwood's V-neck by Jessie Maed, and I will insert a photo of the pattern here for you to see. All of Jessie Maed's patterns are size inclusive, and this one goes up to a 62-inch chest. It's done in a DK or 8-ply yarn at an 18 stitch gauge. I'm doing the main body on a 4.5 millimeter and the ribbon's done on a 3.75 millimeter. So the Northwood's V-neck design is knit seamlessly from the top down with shoulder short row shaping and tapered sleeves. Stitches are picked up for the sleeves and the neckline. This garment can be knitted cropped or a full length with more or less positive ease. The pattern has dropped shoulders. It's not normally my go-to. I normally prefer a raglan, but I think this is quite a relaxed, fun type of garment that I'm happy for that relaxed fit of a drop shoulder. The colours I've chosen, so Knit by Numbers is a DK range out of the UK by John Arbon Textiles. I have about 40 of their colours. I will list the colours that I have used in my show notes, but I'll go through them quickly. 116 is the top colour, is the rust. 97 is the aqua. Number 7 is the dark brown. Number 13 is the orange. 55 is this white, which is actually the undyed colour. And 123 is the navy. And I have finished one sleeve, all bar the cuff, and I've made a little bit of progress on my second sleeve. So I'll talk about this in my shop update, but can you see these little rubber stoppers that I've got on? Actually, I've got a pair here. These little rubber stoppers are called needle tip stitch stoppers, and they are the best little accessory. I use them. These and the cords here are the 2 accessories I use all the time, and they fit on there really snugly, and I can tell you that they won't come off. You won't lose your stitches. And I have actually just got a new shipment of those, and I've resized them. I'll talk about that later. Anyway, so that is that's the Northwoods V-neck by Jessie Maed. I am enjoying it. Like I said, it's quite a relaxed knit, and I think it's going to be quite a fun, relaxed garment to wear. So hopefully I can make some progress on that and get that finished. The next whip I'm going to show you is one I hope to have had finished, but I haven't. And I cast this on as part of the Kiwi MAL, the New Zealand knit along that we're doing. And this one here is the Quartet. It's the Quartet beanie, and it is by Bronwyn from Good to Go Knit Designs. I will insert a photo of it here so you can actually see the pattern. The Quartet was designed in a DK weight yarn and is named for the minimum number of ways and styles it can be worn. Four sizes are included in the pattern. It's very versatile, from a small adult up to an extra large. The pattern does include, it was originally written as a DK pattern, but it now includes the pattern for fingering weight yarn and also a worsted weight yarn. And it's reversible and can be worn with the brim up as a cozy beanie, or the brim down as more of a slouchy beanie, and hence the name, the Quartet. Now what I want to show you, so this is the progress I've made. I'm almost ready. I think I am ready to start shaping for the crown. I did a measurement last night. I think I might just be a couple of rows short. So it's a twisted rib brim that I've done there. And then it's this very easy pattern that's done over 4 stitches. It's you don't need to follow the pattern. It's really easy to remember. So that is the front. But what I want to show you is the reverse side, which I actually think I prefer. So this is where it's quite a versatile pattern. But that's the reverse side. And you can see that it's a slip stitch pattern. But it's a really, really nice pattern, and I'm really looking forward to having this in my wardrobe for winter. So that's it there. I'm doing this, I always do my beanies on a 40 centimetre fixed circular. They make it so seamless, so easy. I don't mind magic loop, but for a beanie I always go to the 40 centimetre. So that is where I'm up to. I will definitely have that finished by my next podcast, because I've really just got to do that crown shaping. But the yarn that I'm using, where are my notes? The yarn I'm using is a merino possum, and it's in its natural colour, and it's been spun by Wild Earth Yarns, and it's a 4-ply. Fingering weight, but it is a very lofty yarn. It's you can see here I'm knitting this on a 3mm needle, so it's quite a tight gauge, and I'm not sure if it's going to show up, but there's a real beautiful halo with that possum shining through. You can see it there. But I can't get over the softness. I can't even begin to describe to you how soft this is. And I just think it's going to be so snuggly and warm. I was I didn't enjoy knitting with possum. Quite a few years ago I did a few garments and I wasn't a fan. But I have to say I've actually fell in love with it again. I think it's Wild Earth Yarn Spin It. They use a different process, so this it's not the same as what I remembered it maybe 6 or 7 years ago. So yes, I am falling in love with merino possum again. So that's it there, and I want to show you, is that it there? Oh, where did it go? It's fallen on the floor. I'm selling this yarn. It's been pre-washed and pre-wound, ready to knit, and it comes with a possum pom-pom that has a ribbon attached to it, so you can sew that onto the beanie, and it's removable for washing. But the possum pom-poms are made here on the South Island by a local maker, and I do also sell them individually if you would like to get your hands on a natural possum pom-pom. It's fallen on the floor, so I'm going to get it and show it to you. So I've talked about these before. They've got this little ribbon on them to attach them, and every one of them are individual. They're all very different. Some of them sort of have a bit of red fur showing through, but Karen, what does she do? Hump them, traps them, I don't know, these possums, and then they're treated, and then she hand makes these pom-poms. Just for those of you who aren't from New Zealand that might be watching, the possum in New Zealand is an introduced species, and it is playing havoc on our fauna. They need to be eradicated. I won't go on about it, but they're not meant to be here. They're introduced, so it's all done very sort of ethically. It's not like we're out there hunting native animals. So I know the subject can be a little bit controversial, but I know if you're a New Zealander, you'll know that we just don't need them here. So they're the pom-poms. So you can buy them individually, or you can buy, on my website I've got that as a merino possum beanie kit, and you get the pom-pom and the yarn ready to cast on. So, and again, that designer is Bronwyn, and she goes under the name of Good to Go Knit Designs. So a Kiwi designer. So I'm going to give a shout out. My next whip is also a Kiwi designer, and I'm going to put it onto the mannequin so you can see it. Okay, so this is my second whip that I had also started in episode 71. I have made a little bit of progress on it, but when you see my two new cast-ons, you'll understand why I haven't made much progress on these first two whips. So this pattern, what's it called? Hang on, I'm going to get my notes. Okay, so this next whip is, it's a plane going over. I also cast it on as part of the New Zealand knit along. I'm just going to wait for that plane to go over. I've got the window open, so I'm guessing that you can hear that in the background. Okay, so Elizabeth is a friend of mine, and she goes under the name of Amikihia Knits, and she is a New Zealand designer. So this pattern was on my radar for quite a while, so when this promotion came about, I knew I wanted to cast it on. But just a little bit about Elizabeth. So Amikihia Knits is a collaboration with her husband. Traditionally, Maori told their stories through weaving and carving. Knitting is expression of storytelling. She loves knitting and creating designs that tell the story of the utter beauty and creation. And there is plenty of inspiration living in the stunning South Island of New Zealand. She has a very busy life, so her aim is to create garments that are very practical, throw on and go, and full of pretty details. So this pattern is called the Kanapu, and I'll insert a photo of the pattern here for you to see. So the yoke is cast on, short rows are worked before increasing, and a simple but effective lace panel is worked, reflecting the light dancing through those fresh spring leaves. The yoke is finished and the sleeves are separated before the body is worked down straight with no shaping to a simple rib hem. The sleeves are put back on the needles and worked straight down to a 3/4 length with no shaping before a decrease round is worked and finished with a simple rib cuff. There are two options for the neckline, either no neckband except for the cast on edge to create a soft floaty look, or a simple ribbed neckband if preferred. You can alter the length, of course, and you can put some simple waist shaping if you need to. I'm going to do mine as short sleeved, and I have used a yarn that is more of a summer yarn. So Elizabeth did hers in double-stranded mohair, a mohair fluff version, I will say. I'm doing mine in a cotton linen blend. So I'm hoping that lace work shows up. But what this yarn, yarn fibre, is it still a yarn if it's cotton and linen? Doesn't matter. It's got really nice crisp stitch definition, and the lace work, I know it's already, I can see it. I'm hoping it's showing up for you. Once that's blocked, I think it will give even more definition. It's a really simple repetitive pattern, and it's just a series of yarn overs to create those eyelets. It's really pretty. I am going to leave that simple neckline. I'm not going to pick up and cast on any more stitches. I'm going to have that wide floating neckline, and I'm going to do it short sleeved. Let me have a look at my notes. So the Allino, I brought a couple of colours down for you to see. So there's that's this beautiful apple green. There's a light cream, a white, there's a navy, and there's a couple of brown taupey colours, but that's on my website under Allino, and it's 50% cotton, 50% linen, and it is, for some reason, I don't think my notes are very good on this. I don't know what I was thinking. It's a DK. So just have a look here. Yeah, 50 grams is 125 meters. So that sits in the range of a DK. And I'm doing mine on a 4mm needle. Now, when I cast this on, I did say in my last podcast, I literally just threw caution to the wind. I saw the pattern. I knew I wanted to do it in the Allino, and I just cast it on and I didn't even swatch. But I also knew that my gauge was going to be way out. So I've done a size 2. Normally I would probably be a size 3 or 4. And I've really just winged it. But I've tried it on and it's worked, and it actually fits me really well. So I don't recommend not swatching, but that's what I did in this case. I have to admit, I just threw caution to the wind, and it's worked, and I'm really happy with it. I'm going to do it fairly cropped, so there isn't a real lot to do on this to finish it. I'm going to just add another maybe 2 centimetres to the sleeve, and then just do a short simple rib to finish the sleeve off, and the same, just a small hem on the body. But yeah, so that's the Kanapu by Elizabeth from Amikihia Knits. And if you want to knit one of her designs, that certainly would fit into the category for the Kiwi Knit Along. I don't know if I mentioned either, the Kiwi Knit Along is open to anyone in the world. So it doesn't matter. I know I have viewers from the States and from Scotland and America. Sorry, the States and Canada. And Australia, of course. So it doesn't matter where you're from. You can participate in this Kiwi Knit Along as long as you're doing a Kiwi designer or a Kiwi yarn. So, yeah, really happy with that. I know we're in the middle of winter, but I often feel that inspiration. It's like I think I just long for summer so badly that I often cast on summer garments in the middle of winter. So it's like a bit of wishful thinking. In saying that, we're off on holidays in about 6 weeks. We're taking the kids over to Bali for my husband's 60th. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've only been to Bali once. Yeah, once. I have been to other parts of Southeast Asia, but I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to that holiday. Okay, so they're my 2 whips that I would have showed you in episode 71. The next 2 whips I am going to show you, I'm really excited about them because I'm really enjoying them. And they're 2 new cast-ons that I have cast on since I saw you last. So I'm just going to change the mannequin and get my things for the next 2 whips. Okay, I think I've got myself organised. Now, in my last podcast, I would have introduced you to the pattern Celestia by Zanete Knits. I'm going to insert a photo of it here just to remind you. It's not this one. I've got it here on my lap. So I'll insert a photo here to remind you. But meet the Celestia top, where the ancient tradition meets a bold modern vibe. This seamless top-down yoke design is all about making a statement while staying totally wearable. With short sleeves, double layered hem, and a never-ending colour motif, Celestia is the perfect summer top for everyone who loves colour and doesn't want the fun to stop. The motif itself is inspired by Janete's Latvian roots, a sun symbol connected by a web of intricate branches. It's got a meditative rhythm to knit, and the large blocks of solid colour provide a unique visual impact. If you're adventurous, try using colour changing yarn for the magical effect. Spincycle is what I've used, or a 2 colour combination, but be sure to make sure they're very contrasting colours. And if you're into clever techniques, this is a perfect project for participating in ladder back jacquard to handle the long floats. Now, it's got 9 sizes, so that's size inclusive. It goes from a 91 centimetre bust up to 171 centimetres. And it's designed to be worn with 10 to 15 centimetres of positive ease around the chest. The yarn recommended is a 5-ply. So I've used my spincycle by John Urban Textiles, which is a 5-ply sports weight yarn, and it's Falkland Corridale. It's probably one of my most popular selling yarns. It is close to skin soft, so that is what I'm using. And I mentioned last time I treated myself to 3 skeins of spincycle that I got from Loopine in Auckland. So the colours that I'm using for my main colour is Ordinary Joe, which is actually an undyed yarn, and the spincycle, the colour I'm using is Fine Line, and it's what she has actually used in hers. So that's my 2 colours there. Now I'll show you where I'm up to. I'm almost at the point where I can divide for the sleeve. So I have been really busy working on this colour yoke, and I am loving it. I've had so much fun working on this. I love the colour change of the spincycle, and I just love doing stranded colour work. I probably don't do enough of it. There's the back, because I know the back's always very impressive. So I have learnt a couple of new techniques with this garment, which is exciting. I think as knitters we like to challenge ourselves to learn new things. So the new techniques that I have learnt is, number 1 is Japanese short rows. So traditionally I always use German short rows, and if the pattern calls for wrap and turns, I sub them out for German short rows because they're easy and they're effective. But this pattern called for for Japanese short rows. So I did a YouTube and looked at how to do it, and I was actually surprised that these Japanese short rows are actually even more effective and easier than a German short row. So they may become my new short row that I prefer to use. But Japanese short rows was a new technique, and ladder back jacquard for carrying floats. Now I have to say I wasn't sold. So I looked at the tutorials and I thought, oh, it just all seems too complicated. And I know that when I do stranded colour work, I do catch my floats, and I'm quite, I think the way I do it is quite effective. But then I also thought, no, Lisa, the pattern says ladder back jacquard, and for me knitting is about staying relevant and learning new things and keeping the brain working. So I sat down with the tutorial and they weren't hard at all. I'd actually convinced myself that they were difficult when they really weren't difficult. So I have been using that technique, and I have to say I like it. It's really effective. I don't know, you can, I don't know if it's going to show up. I'll show you when I've finished it. You can sort of see the ladders of the ladder back jacquard, but because I haven't done a lot of them, oh, actually you probably can see them. You can see columns. Well, that's the ladder back jacquard. And I'm absolutely thrilled with it. Really, really thrilled with it. What I will say too, I always, and if you know me and you followed me, I always use the 4-inch or the 10-centimetre chalgu tips, and they're my preferred length. Very rarely do I use a 5-inch or a 13-centimetre. In saying that, I do have a beautiful set of chalgu forte, which are 5-inch tips that I got. Well, I bought them for myself for a Christmas present a few years ago when they first came out. But I very rarely go to them. But what I'll say is I got to a point in here where I thought I actually need to change to 5-inch tips. And I think because it's stranded colour work, it's like double knit, and it actually become quite heavy. And I did change to my 5-inch tips, which I very rarely do. I just thought I'd share that with you. And I think it's because there is quite a lot going on and there's quite a bit of weight. And I also think because I'm conscious of keeping the work stretched out to carry my floats, even with the ladder back jacquard, I'm still conscious of spreading my stitches out, that I felt I really needed that extra inch of needles. So although I started on my 10 centimetre, only the last time I was knitting on it 2 nights ago, I was only sort of down here. I thought, no, I think I need the 5 inch. So I am using 5 inch tips. So this has all actually been knitted on a 3.25 millimetre. The band will be a 2.75. And yeah, the increases that you do are a twisted right leaning and a twisted left leaning increase. And I did have to refer to the tutorials and make myself a couple of little cheat sheets to remind myself how to do them. But yeah, that's it. It has got, the collar is a bit of a rolled collar, which I'm going to keep. I think you do have the option of picking up stitches and actually closing that neckline in a bit. But it's going to be a short sleeve summer top, and I'm going to leave the wide neck. So that's it. I love it. I'm actually really, really loving working on that. I've got that in my little basket. I bought this in Canada when I was in Canada last year. That's a year ago now. So that is my Celestia top. What I wanted to say about it is a well-written pattern. I did have to read forward and refer to some tutorials to get my head around some of these new techniques, but they're all very doable. I am glad that I taught myself ladder back jacquard because I had never done that before. I have written here that the pattern is very well written. The colour work is graphed. And what I wanted to show you, I often talk about Knit Companion, and I know a lot of you already use Knit Companion, but I thought I would just show it to you. So I use an Apple tablet, but they also do an Android version as well. But this is why I love Knit Companion. So that is the graph. And what I can do is I can zoom in and out of that, so I don't actually need my glasses. And it's got a yellow highlighter that I move with every row, and it's also got row counter on the side of it. Mine sits in a case that, you know, sits up. But if you haven't yet downloaded the Knit Companion app, it is a free app. I really recommend it. And you can pay for an upgraded version that gives you extra features, but you don't need it. Everything I've just showed you is on the free version. And if you haven't tried it and you want to, on YouTube there are tutorials that are done by Very Pink Knits, which she does really good tutorials, and she does a whole series of tutorials for Knit Companion for both Android and Apple. So she'll talk you through how you get your patterns that you buy off Ravelry. You can drop straight into Knit Companion. It's awesome. So that is all I'll say on that matter. And I know that I've got quite a few customers that have said to me the best thing I've ever done is start using Knit Companion. And it means too, with that, I've been able to go a bit more paperless. I still keep a knitting journal, so I'm still that person that likes to write everything down. And so I'm not completely paperless, but I don't have to print pages and pages and pages of patterns anymore, so that's good. So I will talk now about my next whip that has been a new cast on since I saw you last, and this is the Daily Pullover, which is what I'm wearing. So although I haven't picked up for the V-neck yet, it has this, I don't know if you can see it, it's called a center double decrease, which is a feature I really like on this V-neck. So what happened is I I was introduced to this yarn. So this yarn, it's called Settler, and it's by Wild Earth Yarns, and it's 85% merino, 15% Arapawa. Now, Arapawa is a rare sheep that has a funny sort of history here in New Zealand, how it came about. I'm not going to go on about it because if you want to, you may have already watched Bebe and Steven. They do a podcast called Just Another Knitting Podcast. No, not another. I have to check that. What's their podcast called? Just Another Knitting Podcast. So Bebe did quite a lengthy talk on about the Arapawa and how they come about to be in New Zealand. So at this stage, this yarn's only available in 3 colours, which is this pink, a light blue, and then the natural undyed version, just a natural colour. And I'm not a real pink person, but I actually saw this and I loved it. And the reason I love it, and I'm not sure if you can see it there, I'm going to try and show it there, but can you see the bits of grey coming through the undertone under the pink? So it's just got this undertone which gives, I don't know, it's almost like it gives it more depth. And I'm absolutely loving this colour. I'm loving the softness of the yarn. It has a bit of a halo, has nice stitch definition. This has excited me as much as the Celestia. I've really, really enjoyed working on this. I'll tell you, I've jumped ahead of myself. I'm going to insert a photo of the actual pattern so you can see it. And the yarn I've recommended is actually a 4-ply that I sell in my store, which is a new yarn that I've just got in called Devonia, but I'll talk about that more later. I have also put this one, I did this one a couple of years ago. It is on my Ravelry page. So I'll insert a photo of it here. It's knitted up in a 4-ply fingering weight yarn at a 24 stitch gauge on a 3.5mm needle, or needle required to get gauge. There are 9 sizes, so it ranges from a 34 to a 65 inch, and it's designed to be worn with 5 inches of positive ease. The daily pullover is knitted from the top down, seamless in the round, starting with a provisional cast on. I used the stitch cords to do this, and I'm going to leave the link for the tutorial below. I'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. So you start at the neckline and you work back and forth in rows to the base of the V-neck. Along the way you will shape the back neckline with short rows. I used German short rows, not wrap and turns. Then I put the sleeve stitches on hold at the base of the V-neck, where you join the work in the round and you continue down the body to the hem. There is some lower back shaping, some short rows, which just gives you a bit of a little bit more of a longer length at the back than the front. And then finally you pick up the sleeve stitches and do the sleeves, and then you pick up the stitches for the neckline to do this central double decrease in the ribbed neckline. You do a provisional cast on. I'll turn this around and you can't even really see it. I'm sure you can't see that, but I have done I've seen it before and I haven't done it before, but I have done a provisional cast on using the stitch on hold cords, and it's so easy and so effective. And I'll leave the link below for that tutorial for provisional cast on using knitting cords. And what it means is when it comes to picking this up, you just attach the cords to your needle and slide the stitches off. It's a really, really effective provisional cast on. So I'm really hoping that colour is showing up for you as beautiful as it is for me. It's just a really, really pretty colour. I actually didn't, I'll do it in my shop update. I have got a new range of yarns. In saying that, I only put in 5 or 6 colours, but it's a new 4-ply range of yarn that I'll talk to you about later. Okay, so that's all my whips. 2 older ones and 2 new ones. And like I said, I did suffer a bit of cast-on-itis and had the urge to cast on new things since I saw you last. But I'm loving both of those new cast-ons that I'm doing. I have some new patterns to share with you that have crossed my paths, and patterns that I really like, that maybe one day I'll get to cast on. But I'm going to pause for a minute and get a drink, and I'm going to go and get the new yarn and show you the new colours that I've got. Okay, so these are patterns that I haven't cast on, that they're just like future ones that may one day eventuate, but patterns that I want to share with you that have just sparked my interest. And the first one, it's a pattern by Alanna Mortensen, and I've talked about this designer before, and the pattern's called Golden Poppy. And I think it's really pretty. I'm going to insert a photo of the pattern here and a yarn recommendation. But the Golden Poppy sweater is top-down knitted jumper with a large floral pattern that runs across the yoke and down the body. The fit is loose on the body and narrow on the sleeves. It comes in 9 sizes and is recommended to have 12 to 15 centimetres of positive ease. It's done in a 4-ply yarn with a gauge of 23 stitches, with a 3.75mm needle after wet blocking. The new yarn that I have got in that would be perfect for this sweater is Devonia by John Urban Textiles. With that pattern, with that floral pattern, of course, you could use something like spincycle for that changing of colour, or just 2 colours that are very contrasty. Is that a word? So this new yarn that I've got in, I was really attracted to the range of colours, and it is a big range, but I only have 5 of the colours to start off with. Now it's a blend of 50% Exmoor Blueface, 30% Blueface Leicester, and 20% Luster Breeds. I'm not sure what that means, but I think it's that breed is what gives it a bit of a luster and fluff. It's 4-ply, so 100 grams is 388 meters, and this colour is called Burnished Bronze. And I just love the richness of these colours. So there's only 5, so I'm going to show them to you now rather than in my shop update. This one's called Dark Skies, and it's a real jewel. It reminds me of sapphire blue. This one is called Sandbar, and it's quite an earthy, like dark straw colour, which I really like. This one is amazing. It's called Cinder Glow, and it's not black. It's almost got like a real deep burgundy popping through it. I hope that's showing up. It's a really unique colour. And this one here is called Sage Sprig, which is a really pretty sage colour. So they're the 5 colours. And I just think they're quite deep and jewel kind of like. But if you're looking for a 4-ply to put with something to do a bit of colour work, they're worth having a look at. So that is the Golden Poppy, and that is my Devonia 4-ply yarn. The next one I want to share with you, let me just have a look here. I'm going to pause while I get my notes. Okay, so this next pattern is a summer knit, and that's probably what attracted me to it. It's by a designer that I haven't heard of before, and I know I'm going to pronounce it badly, but I'll have a go at it. It's Johanna Girish. You'll see it on the pattern. I'm going to insert a photo of it here. It is so, so pretty that I really want to cast this on like soon. So it's called the Emmanuel tee. I'll insert the photo here. It's done on with an 8-ply yarn with a 17 stitch gauge. It's a loose tee with a round neck and a decorative lace panel at the back, I-cord edging along the hem, sleeves and neckline. So it comes in 9 sizes for an extra small, from an extra small up to a 5XL. The tee is worked in stock and stitch with the lace pattern at the back of it. It is knitted at top down in one piece. Bit of a description here. First of all, you will work back and forth in rows to shape the round neck. When the round neck is closed, the tee is worked in the round with a decorative lace pattern at the back. Once the yoke is finished, the sleeves are separated from the body and the body is finished in stockinette stitch with the lace panel down the back, and the stitches are bound off with I-cord edging. The resting sleeve stitches are picked up again and the sleeves are finished in stockinette stitch in the round until you reach the elbow. Then the sleeve is bound off again with I-cord edging. Finally, stitches are picked up along the neckline and an I-cord edging is applied to the neckline to finish it off. The fit of the tee is lightly loose around the bust, emphasising the delicate lace pattern at the back. The delicacy of the lace pattern and the feminine fit of the tee is additionally accentuated by your yarn choice. 2 strands of silk mohair held together for the most lightweight and fluffy outcome, or a summer version, use a linen or a cotton linen. The length is relatively cropped, although you can adjust that. I love the fact that all the edging is I-cord. I just think that's such a beautiful finish. It is said to have a difficulty level of medium, so I'm pretty sure that's very doable for most of my viewers. The designer, who I said I hadn't heard of her before, but she is originally from Berlin, and now she lives with her family in the southwest Germany. And what I will say is check out her other patterns on Ravelry. All of her patterns have a lovely classic vibe that I really like, and I think she's worth checking out. So that is the Emmanuel tee, and the yarn, and that's the Studio Linen by Erica Knight, because that is more of a DK. I have about 5 colours in that. Actually, you would have seen the 5 colours on the slide. I have used this before and I love it. So it is 100% linen. 85 of it, let me just check. I have to remind myself. I think 85% is recycled. Yes, 85% is recycled linen and the other 15% is premium linen. So that is probably the recommended, that is the yarn that I would recommend to obtain gauge. Now the next pattern that I want to share with you is completely different to anything that I've ever knitted before, and I think it caught my interest because I've been going out in the morning and doing some 5k walks, and when I say in the morning, I'm like 8:30, 9 o'clock, but there's still often quite a hard frost out at that time of the morning. It's quite cool, but I find it quite refreshing. I do layer up. I wear a beanie that covers my ears. I wear gloves. And then towards the end, I normally take off my gloves when I get a bit warmer. But it's quite cold. The mornings are quite cold here at the moment. And I saw this pattern and I really liked it. And it's called the Hebrides Hood. And it's by Cheryl Makateri. She's the designer behind Coco Amore knitwear. Now I've seen that come up a lot on some of my social media feeds, Coco Amore. She's worth checking out on Ravelry. I'm going to insert a photo of the pattern here so you can see what I'm talking about, but it's literally a hood. Hebrides hood is an oversized hood knitted in half fisherman's rib, perfect for adding extra warmth to any outfit. The oversized fit brings a fashionable modern look to a classic versatile accessory. First, the top is worked back and forth. Stitches are picked up along the top section, and all stitches are worked back and forth with increases and decreases incorporated to provide shaping. A couple of rounds of ribbon are then worked before binding off with an Italian bind-off technique. The front edge is then worked by picking up stitches and working in ribbing before the edge is folded over and bound off. It's only a one size. It has been knitted up in a DK held with a mohair, which is almost DK and mohair would almost be like a 12 ply. It's got a 15 stitch gauge, and it's been done on a 4.5mm needle, and she reckons a 40 to 60 centimetre circular fixed needle. Please note that 32 rows in half fisherman's rib stitch are counted as 16 knit stitches. That's for when you're working out your gauge. But I'll tell you what I loved about this hood is I think it would be really warm without flattening your hair and giving you that hat hair look that you have after you get home from your walk and you take your beanie off and you've got flat hair. That's what I like about this, because it actually looks quite loose fitting, but I think that half fisherman's rib would be really quite squishy and warm. But I might attempt one of these. I've got a friend who's done a couple of, not this one, but a couple, I think Petite Knit might have brought out a couple of sort of hoodies. But anyway, that's the Hebrides hood. And once again, check out that designer on Ravelry. I will leave the pattern and the link below in my show notes so you can go and check out some of her other patterns. Okay, now the next pattern I want to show you. Oh, that's right, I had to remind myself what it was. It's actually two. Now they've caught my eye because they are basic raglans, and it jumped out at me, I suppose a bit like this. They're patterns that I would just consider to be really basic wardrobe staples. Now it's called the Lila. Now the Lila is the alter ego to the Lena sweater. They are both based on the same construction and edging, but the details make the difference. It's a basic sweater with cute eyelet details, easy to knit with a perfect fit. Now, I'm going to show them both to you. If you purchase one, either the Lila or the Lino, then if you go to purchase the other one, it's automatically 50% discount, because the actual construction is the same. It's just some eyelets and a few details that make the difference. So the pattern comes with an option of a short sleeve or a long sleeve. I'll insert a photo in a minute. I'll just give you a quick description. So the Lila is worked seamlessly from the top down. The neck is shaped with short rows, and then you work the yoke with increases for the body and the sleeves down to the sleeve separation. So it's a pretty classic top-down construction. It is very size inclusive. It's a 23 stitch gauge. Now, so that was the Lila. I'll insert a photo of them here. The other one is the Lena. Okay, I'll insert the photo now. I got a bit confused there because I actually wrote my notes about 4 or 5 days ago, and then normally I do my notes just before I podcast, but because I did them 4 or 5 days ago, I'm forgetting what I've actually done. But the Lila is the basic raglan that has the eyelets, that has that little bit of extra detail, where the Lena is the basic raglan. It's just got a nice relaxed neckline. It can be very adaptable. It can be done in any 4-ply yarn. My Mayak Fiordalino would make a really nice sort of seasonal sort of relaxed garment, where the Devonia would be a little bit more of a warmer sort of version of it. But I know I probably sound quite boring because they're just basic raglans, but sometimes they're the ones that work, and they're the ones, like I said earlier on about this one, they're the ones that I gravitate to. I look at so much of my knitwear that I've done. I have it all hanging here, and there's a lot of it that it's more complicated than what on the day. I think I generally gravitate to things that are a bit more relaxed. So yeah, I do really like these. The designer is Anchostrick, and I have talked about some of her patterns before. Just really nice classic, really nice easy classic designs. Okay. Oh, what I will say too, I want to give a shout out to Diana from Winton, from the Cabana Diana. So when I talked to you last time, my husband and I were heading down to Invercargill, which is the furthest south you can go here in New Zealand without going over to Stewart Island or Antarctica. But on the mainland, it's as far south as you can go. And my husband did a sort of a backyard type run there, so which meant I had some downtime. And I always said to Diana, our paths only ever cross at yarn shows. And I said, when I'm down in Invercargill, I'm going to come and see you. So I had a lovely couple of hours with Diana. And we just talked and talked and talked and talked. It's just like we'd known each other forever. So I had a really nice afternoon, and she gifted me a beautiful skein of sock yarn that she had dyed, a 75-25. She does a little bit of dyeing herself. So there's another skein of sock yarn to add to my stash, my ever-growing stash of sock yarn, because I just don't knit many socks. I wish I did, but I don't knit a lot of socks. Okay, I am going to I've got quite a big shop update actually, and a couple of small announcements. Like I said before, I am going to have a 4th birthday anniversary sale, and I am going to have 25% off all yarns. So if I have shown you any yarns today that you like the look of, wait until this weekend, which will be, so today, it's going to be all over my social media. So what I want to say to you is, I hope you're following me on Facebook or Instagram. So this Saturday is the 26th of July. I am going to have all my yarn 25% off for the weekend. I'm going to have a big sale for my birthday. At the moment, as of today, all my sock yarn has been 25% off. And this is purely because my little shop is bursting at the seams and I really need to make some room. So, and I thought, what better way to do it than with a birthday sale. So this Saturday, the 26th, is that what I said? It'll be in my show notes. This Saturday, the 26th, and it will be all over my social media. I'm going to have 25% off all yarns. So I'm quite excited about that. The other thing I wanted to say is I've always opened, when I'm in town, I've always opened my shop on a Saturday from 10 to 2, and I've also started opening on a Friday. And I'm going to stop doing that because in all honesty, 95%, probably 98% of my business is all done online, and most of it's done to customers outside of Christchurch. So, but I am always here. I've always said I open by appointment. So if you want to come to my shop, or you're in town and you want to come and see me and come to my shop, just reach out via my website, via my email. My phone number's there. You can text me and make a time, and I will always open. So, yeah, I just have to put more time into other things. I want to put more time and effort into my podcast and my social media. And I feel that I just have to review where I'm putting my time and making better use of my time. And also time for like return on investment, how much time I'm putting into being there to open my shop, where that time could be better spent doing other things. So I've got a couple of really loyal customers that always come on a Saturday, and they know who they are, and I really appreciate them. But I also know that they can reach out to me and I can open any time for them. So yeah, my Saturday opening is not going to be every Saturday. So just keep an eye out for that. I mentioned before about these little things. I call them needle tip stitch stoppers. Now, I first brought these in to New Zealand from a supplier a couple of years ago, and I had quite a large range of sizes. But what I have worked out, and I'm going by my own experiences, is I really only ever use the smaller ones, from sort of a 2.25 up to about a 4mm needle size. So I have reordered a new supply of these, focusing only on those 4 smaller sizes, but you now get 6 of each size. So it's still a pack of 24 in this little and I've also resized the container. It's a solid cardboard reusable container. So check those out on my website, needle tip stitch stoppers. There are some retailers selling those too. I have been wholesaling them to some local yarn stores, so that's really exciting. Also, I want to remind you, strawberry patches, 10% discount using the coupon code Lisa10, all in uppercase. You will get 10% discount from Strawberry Patches website. And again, I wanted to thank everybody that is supporting that make along. I think it's really neat to have so many people from the community come together, like 10 of us all come together to create this wonderful Kiwi MAL. So everyone that's participating, thank you. It is really exciting. It's been really successful, and I think there's going to be some really good gifts there, prizes to win. And remember, you don't have to be in New Zealand to participate. You can participate from anywhere in the world. It just has to be a Kiwi yarn or a Kiwi designer. I'm sure I had more. Oh, yes, I do. So, my thread and maple, which was my leather range, I'm not even going to begin to show you. So this is my folder with all of my needles in it, and I have 5 pages in here. I'm not sure if you can see that. So there's 5 pages in there, different pages that hold all my tips and my cords and all my accessories. If you come to see me at some of the yarn shows, so Woolfest in Auckland and Woolfest here, and I did Gore. What was the other one I did? North Canterbury. I know a lot of you come and had a look at the range. So what has happened, when I very first started with the range, the binder comes in 2 sizes. So it comes in a jumbo and a regular. Now I was using the regular binder, which holds 3 to 4 pages, and mine was bursting at the seams. I knew I needed a jumbo. Now, not everyone needs the jumbo. My needle range is quite extensive. I've got the Forte set. I've got 3 sets of needles in there, so it is quite extensive, and I know not everybody needs the jumbo. But I started off with this regular, and these sell for $305, the regular. Now this one, I need to give it a bit of a buff up and a clean up. It has got some scuff marks on it, but other than the scuff marks, it is as good as new. It's less than a year old. It just needs a bit of a buffing down to get rid of some of those scuff marks. So this is second hand because I've upgraded to the big jumbo one. So I'm going to sell this as a second hand binder for half the price, which is $150. It's not on my website. You'll have to email me or reach out to me, and I'll have to do a special, put it on special on my website. But if you have been interested and maybe wanted to start a thread and maple, but you just haven't wanted to invest yet in $300 binder, I have got that one there that I'm going to rehome for a really good price, half the price. So and like I said, it's only because I've had to upgrade, and I'm going to stop now. I really don't need any more needles or accessories. I've literally got everything I need in there. Yeah, I love it. I just love my thread and maple. I've got a bag that I love. The big, it's called the everyday bag. And there's also the boxy tote, which I haven't got, that I would really like one of those. And I had the small pop-ups. I've sold out of those. I need to order some more. Okay, I'm just looking around. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. So if you're wanting to do some summer knitting in a 4-ply, that's the Morning Salutation colour range that I sell. So there's quite a bit there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 colours I think I have in total, because the white goes on there as well. There's 10 colours there, and this is a beautiful summer yarn. It's 4-ply. It's cotton tencel, and it's what they say that it's really good for hot climates. It regulates body temperature. So I did want to show you that. And I think I've showed you everything. It's been 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks. Like I said, I am going to start trying to make better use of my time. I kind of think I'm putting time and energy into areas that aren't worthwhile. So I'm just starting to sort of take stock of where I'm putting my time and trying to make better use of my time. So I am going to put more time into my social media and my online, because that is it's probably 98% of my business is actually online. And I want to keep podcasting. So I need to put more effort into doing that better and more regularly. I'm just checking my notes here. Once again, thank you to everyone that does support my online business. It really means a lot. And like I always say, if there's so many knitting podcasts out there now, so if you've chosen to spend the next hour or so with me, it's really appreciated. I really appreciate you watching. It's great. Like, please subscribe. Please give thumbs up. And I always sit here at this part of the podcast thinking, I'm sure I've missed something. I'm sure I've forgotten something. Thank you for spending your time with me. Reach out if there's anything I can help you with. And you can do that via my website, but all my details are on my website. And everything I've talked about will be in the show notes below, so you can refer to that. And once again, thank you to everyone that's participating in the Kiwi MAL, and to all the other 9 sponsors that will be donated prizes. And that's all. Stay happy, stay healthy, and get lots of knitting done. And I'll see you here again in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.